Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Jephthah Part 2 from the third book of Redemptive History series, The Unquenchable Lamp of the Covenant. Last time in Part 1, we examined how Jephthah saved his people from the Ammonite oppression. Today, in Part 2, let us learn how Jephthah made a hasty vow and share God's grace together. First, Jephthah's hasty vow led to the sacrificial death of his one and only child. As Jephthah was going out to war against the Ammonites, he made a vow. If God gives him victory, he vowed that he would offer up as a burnt offering whatever comes out of the doors of his house to meet him when he returns home in peace. This is in Judges 11, verse 31. A burnt offering is when you take a sacrifice, cut it into pieces, and burn it on an altar. Everyone, seeing that Jephthah made such a vow, it shows us that he was very determined to be victorious in this war. However, when he came back home, who was the one that came out of the doors of his house first to meet him? In Judges 11, verse 34, it says, "When Jephthah came to his house at Mizpah, behold, his daughter was coming out to meet him with tambourines and with dancing. Now she was his one and only child." Seeing this, Jephthah must have lost strength and felt faint at the miserable thought that he had to offer his only daughter as a burnt offering. In Judges 11, verse 35, it says, "When he saw her, he tore his clothes and cried, 'Oh no, my daughter, you have brought me down and I am devastated. I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break.'" Jephthah's hasty vow drove his one and only daughter to death. Everyone, in such a situation, most people would say, "When did I ever say that?" And they would deny repetitiously what they said. However, the Bible tells us that we must not delay in paying our vows to the Lord, even if it hurts. Jephthah was filled with great regret and grief, but he did according to his vow. Second, Jephthah's only daughter obeyed according to her father's vow. In the perspective of Jephthah's daughter, this was a horrible situation as she faced this unthinkable and guiltless death. Surprisingly, she possessed a firm faith that transcended human pain. She confessed that her father's victory against Ammon was totally the result of God's work. She testified that God had done according to his promise with her father, and that he too must act according to his vow to the Lord. Although Jephthah's daughter may have been bitterly grieved for her premature death, her genuine faith was a consolation to her father, whose heart was broken in despair. In Judges 11, verse 36, it says, "My father," she replied, "you have given your word to the Lord. Do to me just as you promised, now that the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the Ammonites." Everyone, in such a situation, who is going to comfort the father and obey according to that vow? However, here lies the proof that Jephthah had raised his daughter well to become a woman of faith. The period of the Judges had been a spiritual dark period, but the inclusion of Jephthah's name in Hebrews 11, verse 32, as a person of faith supports this belief. The faith of Jephthah and his daughter was exemplary, and it became a custom for the Israelites to commemorate this event annually by mourning for the daughter of Jephthah for 4 days. In Judges 11, verses 39 to 40, it says, "After the 2 months, she returned to her father, and he did to her as he had vowed. And she was a virgin. From this comes the Israelite tradition that each year the young women of Israel go out for 4 days to commemorate the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite." Beloved saints, Through Jephthah's vow, we learn that we must not blindly or hastily make a vow to the Lord. Also, through the obedience of Jephthah's daughter, we witnessed her firm faith that surpassed human pain. What I pray is that through this faith of Jephthah and his daughter, that we will also possess such mature faith, that we will grow into people of such firm faith and glorify God. I bless in the name of the Lord.